We haven't even done anything yet. I like it. Let's go. All right. We're super proud. We're honored to be here. We want to welcome everyone to Utah for many, many years to come. We're super proud for the first selection in our franchise's history for 2024 draft. Utah selects
Tij Iginla.
Wow. Jerome's boy is a Utah Hockey Club guy.
That's right. Jerome Iginla's son, Tij Iginla, is a Utah Hockey Club guy. Or is he a Utah Yeti? That's what the word on the street is. Welcome to SLC Puck. I'm your host, Austin Facer. It's always a pleasure to be with you. This last week, it's been a busy one. Things are ramping up. We're getting closer and closer to the start of the Utah Hockey Club's inaugural season here in the Beehive State. But there was a lot of commotion, excitement. I think the Utah Hockey Club dominated the news cycle this week, mostly because of the NHL Draft and some moves that happened. And I got to tell you, I really enjoyed being at the draft party at the Delta Center on Friday. It was really cool to meet a few of you guys. It was kind of funny. My mom was talking to me before the show. She's like, if you don't wear SLC Puck merch, you're going to make a huge mistake. People aren't going to, you're missing a big opportunity to spread word about the show. And she's right. It was. I just forgot to pack this hat and some other stuff. But it was still cool to be recognized by a few of you guys. It was really kind of weird. And a few guys recognized me right in front of my mom who was there with me. And I think that got my mom pretty excited about what we're doing here. And I think she's getting it. I think she thought I was just being a goofball in her basement, which I am. It doesn't have to be anything more than that, but still pretty fun. Again, I really enjoyed talking to a lot of you guys. Those of you who came up and said hi, really, really nice of you to do so. You're always welcome to. I don't know if you see me out and about at wherever I end up being. I'm not famous. I'm not cool, so don't worry about it. Don't worry about bothering me. But again, really fun. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I do have to apologize to you guys, though. I know you guys were really looking forward to seeing me shave a Z into my chest hair in the event that the team drafted either Z Beaudoin or Zane Parekh. Now, just to recap, the team had the opportunity to make all your wildest dreams come true, to see me shave a Z into my chest hair. Zane and Zeev were both on the clock when Utah picked at 6th. However, they didn't pick either of those guys, and thus I will not be shaving a Z into my chest. I guess I could be shaving a T into my chest, but that wasn't part of the deal. They drafted a guy whose name starts with T, whose last name is familiar to hockey fans. Tij Iginla, son of NHL Hall of Famer Jerome Iginla. That was the Utah Hockey Club's first ever selection in the NHL Draft. When Ashley Smith, you just heard, I played the audio of Ryan and Ashley getting up to the podium at the Sphere in Vegas to make the pick. As soon as Ashley said Tij Iginla, the crowd at the Delta Center went wild. I think that was a pick that really no one saw coming. I didn't see Tij Iginla going to the Utah Hockey Club in any of the mock drafts that I saw. I think a lot of the draft pundits sort of saw the storybook ending where Tij gets drafted by, the Calgary Flames at 9. Calgary, obviously the team that Jerome had his best years with. That didn't end up being the case, though. Utah went ahead and jumped ahead of the pundits, the experts, the Flames, and took him at 6th. And really kind of a fun thing. And now if you think about it, here's what's fun, is if you grew up a fan of hockey in the NHL in the early 2000s, you probably remember the name Jerome Iginla. You probably remember the name Shane Doan, Arizona Coyotes great. Now, both of their sons are in the Utah Hockey Club program, and it's not a far stretch to suggest maybe in a couple years, Tij and Josh Doan, Shane's son, might be taking the ice together at the same time. Josh has already made his debut with the Coyotes. I think he'll be involved with what Utah Hockey Club does. I think he might start the year with them, or maybe he'll start the year with the Road Runners down there in Arizona, wherever the hell they're going to play. Tucson, probably. But again, really exciting to have that name on the back of a Utah hockey sweater. And just to tell you a little bit about Tij Iginla, did some research, did some stories on him. So here's the kind of the cool thing about him is obviously, he has the hockey pedigree, but his road to being a high selection in the NHL draft was not a guarantee. In fact, going into this last season at the junior hockey level, he was considered to be a B-level prospect. I think a lot of the experts, even the scouts, thought he had kind of a long shot to make it to the NHL, to be a first-round pick. He was traded to a new team in the WHL, one that was closer to home, that allowed him to live at home with his family during the season. And it feels like that might have made a big difference. His stats completely exploded. The year before, when he was playing with the Seattle Thunderbirds, his stat line over 48 games, he had just 6 goals, 12 assists for 18 points. He got traded to excuse me. I had my notes here written down, but again, got traded to a different team. Stats totally exploded. He made over 64 games. He scored 47 times, had 37 assists for 84 points. So gigantic improvement, and that catapulted him into the first round of the NHL draft. Again, he's only 17, but still a big kid. Obviously, he's got some hockey genes. His dad, Jerome, was known as a big, physical, bruising kind of player. It seems like Tij might be cut from the same cloth, so to speak. And there was a really cool video I saw, sort of the behind the scenes of the NHL draft after they had been, selected and all that. They had the sweater and all that. And I think you have my notes here. He played for the Kelowna Rockets of the Western Hockey League, and I'm sure I've said that Kelowna name wrong. Again, apologize. I'm doing my best here. All these names, all these European and French Canadian names, they're asking a lot out of me, but I'm doing my best here. But there was this really cool video of him behind the stage at the Sphere. He was chatting with Marshawn Lynch, who was on hand to help the Seattle Kraken make their picks, because every team kind of had a celebrity picker. Marshawn Lynch is in the ownership group for the Kraken, so he got up on stage and made a pick for them. But there was a video of him showing Marshawn Lynch the fighting technique in hockey, and it was so cool. He literally grabbed Marshawn right by the haunches, right here, right where the sweater would be and the shoulder pads. And Marshawn went, "Damn, you strong." And I can't think of anything I would rather experience in life than to be given that compliment from Marshawn Lynch. And Tij Iginla, our guy, he got that from Marshawn. And so I'm already very jealous of him. I'm jealous of him for a lot of reasons, but that was a pretty cool thing. So again, we got an Iginla that's going to be wearing a Utah hockey sweater. I think he's still probably a couple years away. They're going to keep him stashed away. Now, remember, this is all kind of new to me, what I'm learning, the finer points of the NHL draft. Utah Hockey Club does not necessarily have to sign Tij to a contract, an entry-level contract, but they have the rights to do so. And what they'll probably do is just let him stay in the WHL or maybe a different league or some place where he can continue to develop. And then at a certain point when they feel like he's getting close to make the jump, they'll probably move him up and sign him to an entry-level contract. And from there, once he plays his 10th game in the NHL, then the clock kind of starts on his contract there. That's a very remedial, sort of basic, my understanding of how this all works. Again, I'm sort of getting caught up on this. But I don't expect, this is not like the NBA draft where, we saw the Utah Jazz pick a couple of guys in the NBA draft who will probably be on the floor for them next season. Not probably, definitely. That's not going to be the case in the NHL with Tij. He is more than likely not going to take the ice at the Delta Center next year. But I think he'll be around. He's going to be at the rookie development camp, training camp in Park City. They'll keep a close eye on him. And again, he's only 17. Still got a little bit of maturing to do to make it to the NHL. And he's got some big footsteps to fill. There's shoes, footprints, whatever thing your feet go in that you need to fill, metaphorically speaking. Because he comes from a pretty incredible lineage of hockey. His dad, Jerome, like I said, is a Hall of Famer, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, including a gold medal he won in Salt Lake in 2002. And let's talk about 2002, because that might have been Jerome Iginla's best year. He played all 82 games. He scored 52 goals, had 44 assists for 96 points. He was the Rocket Richard Trophy winner. He had more goals than anybody else in the league that year. He also won the Ross Trophy, making him as the scoring champion. Did not win the Hart Award as the MVP, but he was the Lester B. Pearson winner, the MVP as voted by the players. And again, 2002, big year for Jerome. Obviously won the gold medal in Salt Lake. And I found this interesting. That gold medal actually made him the first black man to win a Winter Games gold medal in the history of the Olympic Games. I thought that was kind of an interesting little tidbit. But, it was funny. Being at the draft party, I talked to somebody who serendipitously was wearing a Jarome Iginla jersey. Really nice guy. His name is Jerry. If you want to see my exclusive interview with Jerry, it's on my draft party vlog. It was nice to chat with him. I think Jerry also told me he works for a little site called Utah Hockey Pulse. So go ahead and check Jerry out on that. But again, I was talking to Jerry, and he was just telling me how Iginla was his favorite player. Just was total luck of the draw, I guess. Very sort of storybook moment that he was wearing an Iginla jersey to the Delta Center. So I had to stop him and talk to him about it. And, Jerry obviously spoke about how much he was his favorite player, but he said, make sure people know about the Jarome Iginla hotel story in Salt Lake. And so I excitedly said, yeah, totally. Cause I had heard this story and I thought this episode would be a good opportunity to tell you about it. Here's like the real Reader's Digest version of it. Basically speaking, Jarome was walking around outside of his hotel in downtown Salt Lake City. He bumped into some hockey fans from Calgary who were there to take in the Olympics, presumably watch a couple of games and all that, just enjoy the vibes. They had driven all the way down from Calgary to see them. And Jarome was talking to them, and the guys were like, yeah, we're just sleeping in our car. It is 10 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City, but yeah, we're just sleeping in our car. And evidently what Jarome did at that point is he excused himself for just a moment, went back into his hotel, came back out, and told the fans, he's like, listen, guys, you're not sleeping in your car. I just booked you guys a room. So, go on in and get comfortable, stay warm. And kind of a cool story about, a guy doing good here in Salt Lake City. And now his family's going to be here in a big way with Tij playing here and eventually wearing a Utah Hockey Club uniform. And again, Jarome Iginla, Hall of Famer. Best years were with Calgary. He was known for a tough playing style, at a very hard shot, very physical. At one point, he was the league leader in Gordie Howe hat tricks as well. And if you don't know what a Gordie Howe hat trick is, it's where you have a goal, an assist, and a fight in the same game. And the number I found, they said he probably did that 10 times in his career. So if Tij does a few of those in a Utah Yeti uniform, man, that'd be a lot of fun to see, right? And in addition to being like a great hockey player and dropping the gloves when need be, and check out some Jarome Iginla highlights, by the way. They're pretty fun. It's real badass hockey. Is known as a really nice guy, one of the nicest guys in the National Hockey League. So really great that the Iginla family is going to be a part of what's happening with the Utah Hockey Club. But it wasn't the only selection that Utah made in the first round of the NHL Draft. They also moved back in. They made a trade to get back in the first round to take Cole Beaudoin with the 24th overall selection. French-Canadian name. Sorry, guys. I'm doing my best here. And Bill Armstrong was really proud of this guy. He was really boastful, very proud of this guy's work ethic, if nothing else. Armstrong said to the media, his work ethic might change the culture of our organization. Just how hard he plays the game. That was what he told to the media. And then just some stats on Beaudoin. He totaled 62 points, 28 goals, 34 assists last season for the Barrie Colts of the Ontario Hockey League. It's the highest tier of junior hockey in Canada. He also played for Team Canada at the World U18 Championships with Iginla, so they have some history playing together. And in that tournament, Beaudoin had 2 assists, 2 goals during Canada's run. And here's another interesting local connection, because there are so many. His dad, Eric, played 44 games for the Utah Grizzlies during the 2001-2002 season. I believe at that point the Grizzlies were in the AHL. They had a split affiliation with the Florida Panthers and the Dallas Stars. So Eric Beaudoin was in the Florida Panthers organization. I weirdly remember that the split affiliation between Dallas and Florida, because I believe Dad was covering the Utah Grizzlies for the Deseret News that year. So that's the recap of the first round of the NHL Draft in the books for Utah Hockey Club. A lot of fun. Not as much fun as it would be to shave my chest had Zeev Buium or Zane Parekh been drafted. So sorry, guys. I'll have to make another little fun bet for you sometime in the future. But in fairness, you guys didn't hold up your deal either, because I asked you guys to subscribe and help me get to 500. We're still a little short, so go ahead. Let's smash that like button, smash the subscribe button right now. Go ahead and do that. Just do it. It's not a big deal. It doesn't really matter too much, but might as well, right? But, that wasn't the end of the busy week for Utah. They also were active in the trade market, getting a couple of defensemen. And as I think I said this in my reaction video, in my vlog reaction to the drafting of Tij Iginla, I thought Utah was going to take a defenseman in the first round for their first ever selection. But, it makes a little more sense that they would acquire some defensemen in a trade because it's really sort of an immediate need for this team. Like, they'd need it now. They need to get their blue line shored up. And, you get the guy in the draft, unless the guy's like a surefire, going to be a star guy. And those guys are typically found in the first 3 picks of the first round. Otherwise, you're developing guys. You're waiting for them to come up. But they need defensemen now. They got them in the trade market. The 2 pickups that were big for them in 2 separate trades, they got Mikhail Sergachev from the Tampa Bay Lightning. They gave up J.J. Moser, Connor Geekie, and 2 first-round picks for him. And they also acquired John Marino from New Jersey. They gave up a couple of second-rounders to get him and a 5th-rounder back. So the pundits are saying, I'm saying, this is a huge upgrade for Utah at defense. Sergachev obviously is a 2-time Stanley Cup champion with the Lightning. He broke his leg last year and didn't play a ton, but made it back in time to contribute a little bit to the Lightning's playoff run. But the year before was a career year for him. He had 10 goals, 64 points, which is really great for a defenseman, and averaged almost 24 minutes per game on the ice. So he is more than likely going to be Utah's number 1 guy on the defensive unit. Who his pairing partner ends up being remains to be seen. It very well could be John Marino. And just to tell you a little bit about him, John Marino has played in 328 games, has scored 18 goals and 89 assists over his career. But here's the impressive stat line. He's a plus 38 in his whole career. So the time he's been on the ice, his team has scored 38 times more than the opponent, which is great. That's what you want from a defender. Keep the puck out of the net, contribute to some goals. That's what you got to do. Last year, he had 8 goals, 35 assists for 43 points. And how about this? He played his college hockey at Harvard, so he's probably a smarty pants. And don't we love those guys? How you like them apples is what I got to say. And I'm sure he says that all the time, too. These guys are both in their mid-20s. They got their best hockey ahead of them. They are now among 2 of the highest-paid players on the team. I believe Sergachev is now the highest-paid player on the Utah Hockey Club. But, hey, that's what they were willing to do. That's what they said. They're willing to bring on bigger contracts to be better suited to compete, not necessarily for a Stanley Cup this year, but possibly just to be in the conversation for a playoff spot. And I think that seems more and more likely. The defensive unit is starting to fill out. Sean Dursey just signed today as well. So Juuso Valimaki also signed the other day. So it looks like Utah has its top 4 defensemen all set. It's going to be Sergachev, Marino, Dursey, and Valimaki. The rest of the depth, we'll see how that fills out. But the big dogs are ready to go, and they're ready to suit up for the Utah Hockey Club in their first season. Now, here's the big story. Now we've been talking about this ad nauseum here on SLC Puck. We've been speculating and pontificating as to what the permanent name could be, and the scuttlebutt, I should say, the word on the street. What may have been revealed accidentally, we think, right, was that maybe the name has been settled. Oh, maybe this was a sham election after all. Maybe someone who has been doing 20 episodes now about this team has an idea of what the name's going to be. And we are saying that because Bill Armstrong may have leaked it. And it was so funny. He was speaking to a pool of reporters after the NHL Draft, talking about Iginla, Beaudoin, and he talked about Iginla here and talked about how the process of drafting him. And he said, when we hit pick number 5, that's when we knew. Obviously, they picked 6th. That's when we knew he would be a Utah Yeti, speaking on Iginla. And here's the article in the Salt Lake Tribune. It said, Armstrong added more fuel to the fire when he answered a follow-up question. I'm not allowed to pick the name, he said. I think the little kids in Utah vote about 25 times a day, so I think they got it. So here's what I think happened. I think Billy Armstrong, General Manager Bill Armstrong, GMBA, may have accidentally nailed it. I think he was just trying to be cheeky, just trying to be fun with the media, just saying, hey, he is gonna. I mean, he just as easily could have said he's gonna be a Utah outlaw, right? But I think he said Yeti because I think he was just trying to have fun with the media, being a little playful about what has been the bigger story around the team, what their name's gonna be. But I do think he might have accidentally nailed it. And I think this story is now like gonna spiral from here. I wonder if this is gonna speed up the announcement process by Smith Entertainment Group, where shit, our guy Bill accidentally spilled the beans here. I wonder if this conversation between him and Ryan Smith happened, where as soon as Bill Armstrong got off the podium, Ryan came up to him and said, "What the hell are you doing?" "What do you mean?" "You know that's actually the name of the team, right?" "It is?" "Yeah, it is. Yeah, and you just gave it away." "Oh, my bad." I'm like 95% sure that probably happened. But we'll see. The voting's been closed on the team vote, name vote for a couple weeks now. We did get our first look at the merch at the draft party. I got a little pin in here. Oh, which fell down at some point during the show. Look at this. But hey, now I get to hold it up and show you guys right there. Again, the colors look great. The mountain blue, the rock black, snow white, all that. Snow White. That was Walt Disney. Salt White. Yeah, Snow White. That's a Disney movie, isn't it? Yeah, with the dwarves and all that. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah. But again, I thought everything looked cool. The draft party was a hoot. I saw a lot of, as you probably saw in the vlog. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. I think it turned out pretty good. But I saw a lot of my friends who I played hockey with growing up. I saw a couple of my coaches. Again, a few guys were nice enough to come up and say hi, and that meant everything to me. So really appreciated that. But the it's in the books now. The first draft. We'll see how long it takes a lot of these guys to work their way into the league. As I said, I think we're looking at maybe a year, maybe two before we see Tij Iginla suiting up for the Utah Yeti. No, we'll see how it goes. Coming up this week, though, we're talking here. It's June 30th. July 1st, free agency formally opens, and that's when we can expect Billy Armstrong to fill out the rest of the roster. And I'm telling you guys, the plan. I'm going on another vacation. Look at that! Imagine that in the summer. And so I'll have to do the midweek episode on Tuesday this week on the 2nd. And I'm telling you, by then, I really hope Utah bags a guy that I think they really need to sign in free agency. You comment below who you think that they need to sign in free agency, but I'm going to tell you guys right now, and I'm going to talk more about this on Tuesday, that it's kind of a must at this point for the Utah Hockey Club to sign Trevor Lewis, who has been the most successful Utah native to ever play in the NHL. He's getting towards the twilight of his career. I believe he was on the last year of a 1-year deal, so the only year, with the Los Angeles Kings, the team that drafted him in the first round, making him the first ever Utah to be drafted in the first round way back when, probably over 15 years ago now. But I think to finish his career, he's got to do 1 year in Utah. I think that'll be great for marketing purposes, if nothing else, to get the hardcore hockey fans really into seeing a native Utahn suiting up for the hometown team. I really want that to happen. I'll talk more about Trevor Lewis in the Tuesday episode. But at this point, you do me a favor, guys. Just like, comment, subscribe. Again, the next milestone's 500. I would love to hit that. Merch is available at slcpuck.shop. I saw Ed there, who had purchased a hoodie from me, was rocking the hoodie, despite the fact that it was like 85-degree weather outside. Ed was like, I figured it would be cool enough inside the arena to wear a hoodie. And he was right. Yeah, and the hoodie looked great. I was happy to see that. Again, I just do the print on demand, so I don't actually see the stuff before it goes out. But the hoodie looked awesome. So if you want to join the pack with Ed and the gang, and we've had some other folks order hats and hoodies and shirts, and I've got stickers too. Go ahead and check those out at slcpuck.shop. But we'll be talking to you guys more. We're ramping up the team. We're starting to get a better idea of what the team's going to be. It's going to be a lot of fun. The end of September is going to be here in no time. Rookie camps coming up, training camp. Lots to talk about. Lots still ahead on SLC Puck, so we'll cover it all for you here as soon as we can. And appreciate you guys. We'll talk soon.